We're really excited. First, we're just going to go through some main points of why we decided to start HUCP as Innovation Fund, and then talk about some more of the logistical aspects of it. But just to introduce myself, my name is Priyanka. I am the Vice President of Initiatives at HUCP. I've been part of HUCP now for about 4 semesters, so it's been great to be with it over the past 2 years and watch the Innovation Fund grow into the amazing organization it has become. And my partner, Grace, is the Managing Director of External Initiatives as well, and she'll talk a little bit more about her role a bit later. So just to start off, the reason why we decided to start the Innovation Fund is to really help Harvard's university's entrepreneurial ecosystem grow. We've seen from 2007 to 2017, the Harvard graduate experience has had a lot of great success in the startup world, but it's been hard to find university-backed programs that help these early stage startups get to later build out and become great startups. And so we really wanted to make sure that we could be a venue for people to come to and get funding early on to take their product where they needed it to be. We've seen that this type of model has worked at other universities who are also well known for their startup ecosystems. MIT is a great example of that. MIT has a bunch of institutionally and university-backed startup programs like Start MIT, MIT Sandbox, to really make sure that the exploration phase of the entrepreneurial ecosystem allows startups to get from just an idea to more of their late stage funding. And so this is the gap that we are specifically trying to fill to make sure that our startups have access to resources, mentorship, and of course, equity-free grants. So that way they can build out their MVPs without having to worry about giving away parts of their startup. So the Innovation Fund is basically broken down into 3 major tiers of how we choose to help our startups. The first, of course, is up to the 5K in equity-free grants that are given to any of the startups. The second, and probably the most important, is the mentorship that we offer through our VC partners that we work with and our angel investors. And so this occurs through the form of things like office hours throughout the Innovation Fund grant period, but also later on, even after you're done with your cohort experience. And if you're looking for funding, you can always come back to us and we will put you in touch with the VCs that we work with and that are specifically looking for startups to invest in, and make sure that you can find that funding through trusted partners that we know can help you get what you need. And then the last, of course, is the AWS credits that we have to offer. We partner with the AWS startup team, who gives us up to 10K in regular credits and 1.5K in business credits. And then the startup team actually also hosts things like workshops and other mentorship coffee chat type things to get to know some of our Innovation Fund winners even better throughout the semester of the Innovation Fund. So one of the other highlights of the Innovation Fund is also our bootcamp. And so this is an intense period that's open to the semifinalists and finalists for them to come to our specifically organized workshops, our office hours, which are more exclusive for just our finalists, but you'll get one-on-one time with our partners, and this is an hour that you'll get to spend with our partners and either pitch your startup and receive feedback right away, or if you have specific questions about things like marketing or how to do better in like specific startup ecosystems like fintech or biotech or whatever you need, we will pair you specifically with someone who has an area of expertise in the things that you need help with, and then you'll just get to talk with them throughout that time. And it's a really valuable experience that all of our winners in the past have said have really helped them develop out their startups for the remainder of their time throughout the cohort. And then the last, of course, is our networking events. So you'll get to meet other IF semifinalists and finalists and then also winners from our past cohorts and get to learn about their experiences and the things that the lessons that they've learned from while building out their startups as well, and what their biggest takeaways from their cohort experience was. And so this happens from March 26th to the 29th, and we'll go more in depth about specific logistics a little bit later on, but once the Innovation Fund winners are announced, which happens usually around March 22nd, you will find out what events you'll specifically be invited to. And I just will say that the Innovation Fund Bootcamp is mandatory for all finalists, but then it's opt-in for the semifinalists and our other like big fireside chats, which are open to all of the Harvard community as well. So how do you get selected for the Innovation Fund? Similar to a theme, we look for three major pillars that really make sure that the startups we're investing in show a dedication towards like next waves of disruption and are the next big thing. The first, of course, is having a genuinely good idea. We look for startups that either are for-profits or nonprofits that are improving the lives, of course, of people in real communities, but also are things that we haven't seen before and are really unparalleled. And then in regards to the team, we want to make sure that it's a diverse group of people on your team, but that you demonstrate, of course, technical ability and that you have at least one Harvard member on your team. And that's Harvard affiliated in any way. It could be affiliated through the grad schools, it could be alumni of the university or any of our grad schools, like working as part of staff or faculty or anything. We don't really care as long as one member of your team has some sort of connection to Harvard. That's what we care. And in regards to milestones, this is probably the most important part of what you should talk about in your application, is that we really want to see that you have a clear, actionable plan for what you're going to do with our money. And especially how you're going to take the money from a point A to point B. So what I mean by that is that if you can break down for us specifically how you're going to be using the grant money that you're applying for. You don't have to apply for the full 5K. You can apply for only like 3,500, like, or et cetera, if that's what you need. But like, tell us the breakdown. So 1,000 of that is going towards marketing. 200 of that is going towards software developer fees. 300 of that is for like hosting your platform. Tell us exactly what you need the money to be used for and when you are going to be planning to use the money. So say that you get the grant, but you won't be using a chunk of that money until a month and a half from now. Tell us that and tell us why that is. Oh, because you have to have X, Y, and Z built out in your MVP first before you use that money. That's totally okay with us. We just want to make sure that you have seriously thought about what it will be used for, and it'll give us a better picture of if our money is actually worth it in terms of helping you and will make a big difference in getting you from like one stage to another. And that could be things like from just an idea to an MVP, or the start of your MVP to completing like a second round of your MVP or anything like that. We just want to make sure that you're making significant progress and you're not going to be dependent on getting other grants from other people in order for our grant to actually matter in your success. And if you have questions about that, feel free to ask us at the end, specifically about like what we're looking for if this is still confusing to you. So just some logistics about the Innovation Fund. So this is now the third semester that we'll be running the Innovation Fund. Over the past 3 semesters now, we've had more than 100 applicants. Oh, I actually have to update the number, that's my bad, but we've funded now about 14 startups. And then each semester we've given out more than $10,000 in grant funds. And in terms of our network of partners, we've have a investor partner network of over 50 people with 28 VCs and 19 angels, all which have over $28 billion of assets under management. And HUCP as an institution has sourced over 400 startups, and we've had about $4 million worth of investments go through with the startups that we have sourced. And then talking about what our network is like, the VCs that we work with are obviously big names like Sequoia, Acme, Winklevoss, Pear, DN, just to name a few. And then the winners of our innovation fund have also gone on to do some incredible things. Recently, last semester's winner, Fineary, was accepted into the winter version of YC. Paragree, which is our spring 2020 winner, was one of TechCrunch's top 20 battlefield contestants. And Almond Finance, a winner from last fall, was a semifinalist in the President's Innovation Challenge. And so they've all done incredible things, of course, with the help of some of our partners who have helped them get to the stages that they've wanted to be at. And we hope that if you are selected as well, we can help you find similar success in the future as well. And now I'm going to pass it along to Grace, who will talk more about our partnerships and what the logistics for the Innovation Fund will look like.
Yeah, thanks so much, Pri. So just as a quick introduction, I am the Managing Director of External Initiatives at HUCP. And this semester, I'm really running point on building out partnerships and really creating the bootcamp weekend programming and really making sure that that's a useful chunk of your time, really making sure that we're building out workshops that will be value adds to you. So this year we are actually partnering with MOKEN Group, which is a hub for founders and startups as well. They specialize in startup development and are based in Vancouver. They're a full service agency and they offer founder-driven programming, a digital academy for entrepreneurs, founder community-focused events, and as well as tech dev resources to actually build founders' ideas to life. And in addition, we will be able to utilize their virtual network to really cultivate your growth once you join our community. Next slide. So what we will be able to offer because of this new partnership is a branding package that is fully funded by MOKEN. So this is a $10,000 plus value full brand identity package, which will include brand naming, if applicable, custom logo design and development, color palette, typography, hierarchy, brand visuals and patterns, brand applications and mockups, and ultimately an entirely new or revamped version of your brand design system, which often makes or breaks a startup and the startup adoption into whatever market you're trying to configure your startup to. The 3rd to 6th startups, so basically our finalists will also receive really steep discounts on these brand identity packages, and then a brand application advisory session as well. And then the advisory does not only extend to branding, but also to monetary strategy. We have branding and storytelling sessions, technology, product development and growth strategy, as well as female-focused strategy sessions. Next slide. And so just to get into the logistics of what the application will look like. So the application is running live now on our website. I will very quickly drop the link in the chat. The written application is due on March 14th. It is a pretty quick application. We'll be mostly getting to know you through the interview rounds. So the first interview round will be March 17th to 18th. And you can expect kind of the fit questions that Pri kind of alluded to, as well as the what are you going to be able to do with the funds, where the funds exactly will go to and when, and how you want to align with the Founders Network and be more involved in the Founders Network as well, because that's something that we definitely look for long-term community traction. The second round interviews will be March 20th to the 21st, and then we will announce the IF winners on the 22nd of March. And then bootcamp programming, which is really, really exciting, will be held on the weekend of the 26th to Monday the 29th. And all the IF winners will be required to attend. But it's going to be really, really awesome. We have a lot of big names that we have gotten to contribute their time and who really just honestly want to get to know you guys. So we have Gina Kirsch, who's the founder of the Venture Collective, and she's also the youngest director at BlackRock, and she'll be able to really talk a lot about both investment pitching, but also understanding what it's like to be a woman in the VC and investment space. We also have Abdul Lee, who's a partner at Index Ventures, which for those who do not know is a huge VC firm in New York. And we have Allison Page, who is a founder of 7 Rooms, which has been able to be really successful in raising over 50 million in their most recent round. We also have Vince Ponzo, who I hopped off the phone with a week ago, and he's part of the AWS startup team, who has been really, really generous with us. And kind of to what Pri was speaking about in terms of Y Combinator, he's been able to help refer our startups in the IF winner cohorts for this new summer round of Y Combinator, which is really, really exciting. They go through a different pipeline than the regular applications. And we have a lot more in store as well. We'll have specific workshops that are guided towards specific verticals. So we have a tech-enabled startup workshop. We have a retail founders panel. We have a healthcare startups workshop, a D2C consumers workshop, and then just office hours running throughout with really, really awesome names. Okay, next slide. So the grant period timeline will look like after the IF cohort begins on March 26th, you'll have a first month update that you'll have to check in with us about on April 30th, when the second half of the funds are distributed, and then a midway check-in on May 7th, where we'll just send a brief grant update form, and we will expect that you can kind of talk to what has been able to be accomplished with our grant money. And then IF graduation, which is the demo day weekend that we're really excited to be hosting as well. So this semester, we'll be hosting a weekend that consists of 2 mock board days that is followed by a demo day. Basically, you'll get to pitch to investors and our huge name partners. And I think it's a really exciting chance to not only be able to network, but also be able to obtain really crucial feedback that has no strings attached. And yeah, we're really excited for you guys to apply. We're really excited to meet you all and to really introduce you to our, introduce and welcome you to our new cohort and Founders Network. If you guys have any questions, feel free to unmute and ask away.
Yeah, or feel free to type them in the chat too as well, but we'd love to open it up to questions now.